Here we go. I gave it a couple days just to see all the reaction to this, to kind of develop what I wanted to say about Canon's new video still 4K camera. This video, you're seeing I'm going to give my reaction to the Canon XC10, their 4K professional camera. What they say is that it's a 4K video camera now for photographers, and how it's not competing against anything. It's Canon trying to do an interesting twist on the line between mirrorless and DSLRs and all that kind of stuff, and get into the market. So they have a $2,500 basically camcorder. It doesn't have any and it does take stills as well, but it's basically a 4K camcorder that they're trying to put out into the market. It doesn't ship until June 2015, but you can pre-order. It's available everywhere now. So what does this offer you? And I'll give you my quick reactions. It has a 1-inch CMOS sensor with a DIGIC 4 processor. Processor isn't the fastest out there anymore, so that's a little interesting. A 1-inch CMOS sensor. It's okay. It's similar to, like, I don't want to say point and shoot qualities like GoPro or something like that. So it is smaller than a lot of people do expect, but you know, whatever you could do with it, that's fine. It does 4K at 30 or 29.97, 24 frames, and then 23.97 frames as well. So it's actual usable 4K quality, which it freaking should be anyway, especially for the price. It shoots an H.264 in an MXF wrap. So if you're using maybe an Avid, Adobe Premiere Pro, for editing, that will work and read so much easier than some of these other formats that these cameras put out there, especially like the Sony AVC HD, all that kind of stuff. That's very difficult for some to read and process and everything like that. This has slots for SD high quality cards, XC and CFast cards. So that card still is trying to come out into the market, but this Canon has this as well. One of the biggest things it does, it's clean HDMI out, which is huge, especially for 4K, because you don't need something externally. But once again, all depending on the length of the record times, you might want that option as well. Essentially what they're stressing right here, and I'll get to the other stuff as well, is the ergonomics of the camera, as you'll see basically from pictures like this. So this is an interesting twist on how something can look. It's got kind of the personality of I'll say like a C300, a C400, all that kind of stuff, blended with a DSLR, blended with just, I don't know, it is interesting, and it does look like it would work well and it would be very, very comfortable. But one of the things I want to point out is the lens on this thing. It's a 10 times zoom. They say it's an 8.9 millimeters to 89 millimeters, which equivalent to 35 millimeter sensor would be 27 to 273 millimeters. So you're getting good range on this, but it is a variable aperture, so that's kind of interesting. It's from 2.8 to 5.6. Kind of wish that wasn't the case, unless that's something different. But that's really what they're kind of stressing here. So I don't like that range 100%. Maybe if it was a 2.8 constant, that would be fantastic. So we want to work on that. This still does the 1080 HD, 60 frames, blah, blah, blah. So I say natively, it starts at around 100, and they're saying go up to 20,000 ISO. So maybe with the size of the sensor, it's really not going to be that well past 3,200. Once again, just reaction, you know, 100%. We're not sure, you don't know. Once again, they stress the grip, and it does use a hot shoe that you can put Canon flashes on it, whatever, microphones, whatever you need, but it is Canon based, obviously, and it uses the popular LPE6 battery, which Canon loves to use in their DSLR lines, and it's a popular, great selling battery for them. So who the heck is this camera for? To me, I think it's a interesting blend. I wish it was probably a better sensor than what it's going to be, or, you know, some of the stuff that's out there. But I really kind of see this more or less in documentary shooting, so that way you don't need your ENG type cameras, your big ones that you have to shoulder mount. And it's just lighter. It will pack easier, especially if you like to travel and you like to do this stuff. I see this being a perfect blend for a reporter, for multimedia, on the field type shoots. But for your everyday camera, your blend between video and stills, I don't see this being a thing. And one of the things I was stressed is, could this be a thing for weddings and events and everything like that? I don't know if the quality will be there for that. For $2,500, I definitely hope it is, and I'm sure it'll be okay. But I don't know if I would use this full time, especially for video. That's why there's better video cameras out there. But the overall thing is, you know, I think it's for reporters. I think it's for that kind of field, and I think it'll work well. The price point's going to hurt the popularity of this camera because of the other options that are out there, even though that they're not competing against anyone. I'm going to give you two cameras in which that they are. And that would be the Panasonic GH4, which as you see now is essentially $1,500 for the body. Once again, if you have lenses, you can get some mounts, everything like that, and you can save a lot of money doing it that way. But you want 4K, you want something lightweight, you want clean HDMI, different 4K options, whatever you want. This is the camera to get. And it has your perfect blend with stills as well, which they're trying to say is what the XC10 is going to do as well. It gives you that option. I didn't think I mentioned the megapixels. I think it's 12 megapixels, do I believe? Blah, blah, blah. Yep, 12 megapixel for stills. So once again, that doesn't really bother me as well. But once again, you're getting more, especially with something like this, at a now $1,000 cheaper price. So you have that option, and then there's the Blackmagic Cinema camera, which a lot of, you know, Canon users love and everything like that. And that went down, you know, over the past 2 years, $2,000, $1,500, you know. So it's a great option to have. Obviously, the stills from this aren't its selling point, so I guess that's what they're trying to compete with. So more or less, they're competing with the GH4 and the Blackmagic. So what does that mean? What do you look into? I think if you want a perfect blend of both, possibly the GH4 is the simple option for this. But I don't know. Until we see more, until we see what's left, I think this is a reporter-based camera. Until further testing, we shall see. But what do you think out there? Please write that down below in the comments. I think it'd be really interesting, you know, because it's, once again, it's a very interesting look. What do you think down below? Price point wise, $2,500 looks way too high for this camera, but we shall see.